Good morning, United Kingdom. Good morning, Lakhi Singh, the property fixer. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you doing?
Good morning. Can't hear you properly, Lakhi Singh.
I can hear you absolutely fine.
ठीक है सपना चादर को बुला लो बस उसको क्या है कि जब तक ठीक नहीं करेगा
I can't really hear you. You seem to be freezing, so I'm going to try and dial back in. Shall I do that?
We're back. United Kingdom, Lakhi Singh, the property fixer. And this morning live, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. as usual. We have Lakhi Singh, who had some, I think, reception problem earlier on. We got him back, waiting for him to come back. In the absence of Lakhi Singh coming back on, we have the lovely Sapna Chadha, who is waiting in the wings, just like Mariah Carey and what was his name? Luther Van Ross. So can we have Sapna? Okay, as soon as we get her in, we will have her on. Okay, so today's discussion is I can't remember. So let's try and get reminded. That's right. Hard work. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work. So we're going to ask Lakhi Singh and Sapna whether they are hardworking or naturally talented. Which one is it? And what do you need to do to become successful like Lakhi Singh, the property fixer? Is that right? Yes. Okay. So now I'm off. Now I'm back on again. Are we on now?
Hi, I'm back again.
No. Yes, well. Excellent.
Hi, yeah.
Excellent. Right. Okay. As I was saying to the audience, the saying for this week is hard work in place of talent when talent doesn't work. So a question that we're going to ask everyone today is, are you talented or are you hardworking or are you both? The second important topic for this week being, how can you become successful like Lakhi Singh, the property fixer? What do you need to do to become a mover, a shaker, a quaker, a raker, a draker, a maker, a squeezer, a squeak, a moonwalker, a talker of the square mile in London. So, Lakhi Singh, before we start, good morning, sir, to you. What's the weather like there in the southeast?
It's nice and bright this morning, tiny bit frosty.
I assume that's no comment.
A wonderful day.
Or there isn't any weather, or the weather is blank. As usual, sir, a wonderful day to be up, to be alive, and to be making moves as you. So we have the lovely Sapna, and I believe the name Sapna, does that mean a dream? Are you a dream to us? Yes, Sapna.
Yes, Sapna. Yeah, that's
Whereabouts
what it
are
means,
you in
dream.
England?
Yeah.
What part of England are you in?
I'm from the northeast of England.
Yeah, nice
Northeast.
dream.
So, yeah, so I'm from Newcastle.
Northeast of England. Northeast.
Yeah.
Newcastle.
Yeah.
That's right. That's the home of the Spice Girls, I think. Is that right? No.
Oh,
The
just one
what's
of
the
them.
other
Yes.
group? Not Spice
Cheryl.
Girls.
Yes.
Yeah, one of them. That's right.
One of them.
Cheryl,
That's
that's
right.
right.
That's right. Yes. That's right. That's right. You've
That's
got
right.
good knowledge.
Do you know her?
Sorry?
Yeah. Do you know her? Do you know her?
I don't know her,
Do you
but
know
I
where she
have
lives?
bumped into her mom, once or twice. Yeah, because she doesn't live too
Right,
far
okay.
from where I worked, previously. So yeah, I've seen her. I've met her. She's
Excellent.
very normal. Yeah, very normal, down to earth people. Yeah, yeah, just like us.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. Just like us, just like me and you, Sapna.
Yeah,
It's not
just
like
like me
Lakhi
and
Singh, the property fixer, because he's a bit of a talent, celebrity of the square mile. So he's
That's
not
it.
common like us. Lakhi Singh,
Yeah, that's right.
who is not living in the square mile? Because I think everybody who's rich and famous lives in your neck of the woods. So who doesn't live in the square mile?
I don't really know, to be honest. I think a lot of people do live in other areas which are quite well to do. In the Hampstead, you've got Gerrards Cross, you've got Moore Park in West London, and you've got Epping Forest in East London. So I don't think they all live around here. A lot of them actually probably have homes internationally as well, such as Mecca Island, Richard Branson.
Very nice, Mecca Island. Right, Sapna, what do you do? You want to know before we start this morning? What do
Right.
you do, and where? What's the story?
Right. The story about me is I'm now full time in properties. So I've now got property work full time. I started with my property journey about 3.5 years ago, but prior to that, I've actually been working for the local authority here. So I've been in a corporate job. I've worked as a deputy superintendent registrar, for the local authority. So what I do now is very, very different to what I did before, because I conducted ceremonies and register births, deaths, and all that. So, that's what I did for local authority for many years. Then I just had this property bug that everybody gets, not everybody gets, but some people do. So about 4 years ago, and this is how, I just thought I have to do some kind of course. So I did a course back in 2018, a year-long course, just to learn different strategies, to get some idea how to do it, how to go about it, because I didn't want to make any mistakes. And once I did the course, then I started, because like everybody says, start with rent to rent, because that's the easiest strategy. I mean, so, I just started with this rent to rent thing, but, you realize that when you do course, there are things that are taught, but, when you actually doing, there is so much more to it, so I learned a lot as I went along, made tons of costly mistakes as well, but then built a good portfolio of properties of rent to rent, and started generating good income. And then I just developed links here in Northeast, in Newcastle. So I've started investing in properties as well myself, and started doing developments and refurbs and all that as well. So now, last month, officially, I've actually quitted my job, and I'm full-time in this property business. And I've also started a Facebook group as well for people like myself.
Excellent. What's the key formula?
What's the key formula?
For rent to rent? For rent to rent, how do you do it? Is it a contract? Is it the tenants? How does it work?
numbers are the key. The key thing is the numbers. The main thing is number. It doesn't matter what deal you're getting, where you're getting. If numbers don't work, it doesn't make sense. So I think the bottom line is what I've come to. My conclusion is you don't need to insist on getting your properties, from the landlord, because people have this misconception, I would say, that you have to get your deals directly from the landlord in order to get good deals. It's not the case. It just depends. Sometimes your good deals may come from your letting agencies if you have good connections with them, or even sourcers. There are some good genuine sourcers out there. So, but the bottom line is do your own numbers. Never trust anybody. I mean, I'm not saying people are bad, but just learn the strategy so and you are accountable for whatever you are choosing and picking. So that's the key formula. I think that's what that's my conclusion. Yeah. So on the basis of what I've learned, actually, I've started a Facebook group as well, rent to rent startup support group. So that has now gone nearly, over 1,100 members now. I just very recently started, I think 3-4 months ago. So that group is going very strong. And then I've got another platform where I do loads and loads of live videos. I give loads of value out to people because I've kind of walked the walk.
Okay.
So yeah, sorry. So basically I'm just connecting with people now, because I thought next step for me is growing, in this way, because I have always been like a camera shy person, very introvert and very low profile type, so I just thought this is my next step, So yeah, so this is what I'm making conscious effort to, make myself aware, if anybody needs help. So I'm kind of now I'm mentoring on a one-to-one basis as well for rent to rent, because I feel that there was that gap in the market, because when I did that course, I mean, the course is okay, but when you need that person, that person is missing. That approachability wasn't there. And I want to be that person who can be approached easily. And that's why, I have made it a point. So I kind of do one-to-one with people where I'm like a shadow for them. So, I work right alongside them. So, because I kind of know how lonely this can be, And when I started, I came from absolutely zero knowledge in properties. So I know how one can feel, me being a mother and me being a housewife as well. And just felt very, very, it can be very scary, because, I know it's relatively low investment, but, still it's an investment, and you want to be careful and you have fears, you want to ask someone. So I've just started, on those bases. I think there are people like me who need person like me, maybe. So, yeah. So that's what I'm doing.
Excellent. I think Lakhi Singh, that basically Sapna rings of the same type of thing that you try to emanate. That's helping people, wanting people to become successful. So what do you say to Sapna, the way she has grown in her business and now is sort of somewhat a mentor to people?
Well, I think goes back to Sapna's name. I think when she started off, she had a dream. And now that when she had the dream, now the dream is actually become a reality. So I think if you've got a name like Sapna, you can't go too wrong, first of all. So I think she should use that as a trademark, rent to rent dreams.
All right. Okay. Yeah. I've learned something today. Yeah. Oh, that's very sweet of you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Having a bit of a brand identity so people can identify with you could be quite good, because you're probably going to move away from being on a personal level, working in the property business, to maybe become a bit more of a corporation. It could be Sapna International. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Sapna International.
That's what you should be thinking. Well, even become UK-wide is quite good. So what you could do is the rent-to-rent strategy is good, but you might want to position yourself in the market as the go-to person for let's just say, open information, and then you
Yeah.
can actually bring value. But having the name is probably quite good in terms of what you could use. That's obviously, there's a play with the name. But the other side of it is, I think you're an inspiration to a lot of people who are probably now stuck in COVID-19, thinking, what do I do to try and make an alternative income? So looking at property from a complete, like a new thing to get into, your story is a real inspiration, I think.
Thank you.
Excellent.
That's very cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody can get inspired, definitely, because I started from zero, and by looking at me, you will think, oh, how will she know? Every aspect of property I had to learn. Nothing. I wasn't given anything, and nobody in my family ever was ever into in properties. Everybody had jobs, everybody's professional, so it's something very daring. They think I'm doing. So yeah.
Well, I think from how I started off was I was also the black sheep of the family when I started. They all thought. So my dad still says to me when I go over to his house, he goes, "When are you going to get a proper job?"
Excellent. Okay, Sapna, can I ask you a question then? What's the principle behind rent to rent then? What do you do? Do you agree with the landlord that you will give them a rental? Is that rental what they're expecting, or is it slightly lower than what they're expecting there? And why would they hand the property over to you? Why are they giving their property to you? Why are they not ready? Is it they're just sick and tired of property and the hassles with it, or what?
Yeah, because I mean, number one, I'll answer first question first. That I mean, agreeing to the rent, we try to meet their expectation as much as possible, but at the same time, we need to cover ourselves as well. So I mean, we are like letting agents for them, but we are a better version of letting agent because we are covering their voids, we are covering all the management costs, we are day-to-day running, dealing with tenants, all that type of stuff. So we do try to be very, very fair with them as well, because at the end of the day, it's their property. If they don't give us that opportunity, we will not be able to do our business, So I do totally understand. And this is exactly what I tell my mentees or whoever is learning from me as well. It's important that we appreciate that they've given us this opportunity, So but that's not always the case. Again, it's a business, so we really need to look at our own running cost as well, because we are covering so many things on their behalf. So that is where we are. So we've got like analyzer. We analyze deal very, very carefully, every aspect of it before we take it. So and then we do our very best to give the best possible offer.
So let's understand. I'm a landlord. I am tired of chasing tenants, worrying about trying to collect rents, etc., etc. Don't like the problem of the fact that I have to keep spending money on my property. You come to me and say, right, Salim, I am giving you this option on the table. Right. So that option on the table, what does it entail? Are you saying to me, I will pay you whatever the market rental is, or I'll pay you slightly less than that? How does it work? How would you convince me if I want to throw the keys in? And where do you get my type of client from? Is it from agents? Is it from your own network? Is it from you putting out an advertisement in the local press? Where would you get a landlord like me come to you?
Right, the landlord like yourself. I mean, this strategy, I mean, I have to be very honest, because this strategy doesn't work for everybody. If you are yourself a landlord and also involved full time in properties, you wouldn't want to use someone like us. It's more for people who have used property as an investment, or people who are tired. They have been full time landlords, but they now want to retire, or they want to take backseat, or it could be that they've had bad experience in properties, or sometimes you just can't be bothered to deal with all these day-to-day issues. So it's those type of people, they've had, or it could be that they are in some kind of financial difficulty. Property is run down, there is so much competition out there. I mean, if you look at the rooms, they're so lovely. People, I mean, this is what we do. We add value to the property. So because they know they have got this property, and it's a shame that if they have to get rid of the property just because they can't afford to update it, So that's what we offer. We will take those type of properties. So it's those type of, first of all, it's those type of landlords who will want to work with us, because we will add value. We will bring their property, to the modern standard. We will do various things to make it look attractive, like a hotel-y look. That's what I specialize in. That's what I do. So it's so the type of landlords who will work will be like that type of people. So what we will say is, if you let us look after your property, we will guarantee you rent for, it could be for 3 years, 5 years, or even 7 years. Or in future, if they have, this idea that where they want to sell their property, we can even agree on a price as well. So moving forward, if they ever want to sell, obviously, if we've done a good job, then by then we will have like a good connection. They'll have that trust in us. So it'll be us. They will want to ask first, if they want to sell. So we give them that opportunity as well, that if they want to sell, we will be happy to buy their property. So basically, they're going to get passive income. They can forget about it because we will be doing day-to-day running. We'll make sure that there are no voids, or even if there are any voids, they're still going to get that set income every month. So they can make their financial planning, whatever they need to commit themselves to, they may have
Excellent.
different dreams.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, Sapna, I'm going to ask you a question then, right? So are you not then slightly verging on service departments? Isn't that what you're doing, really?
I have got service apartments as well. I have, yeah, but yes, it's very similar. So the type of model I do provide my accommodations or these HMO rooms, for people who are like professionals, young professionals or mature students. But, because the market is so competitive, you have to have your rooms little bit nicer, just to be ahead of the game, as everybody knows. So my properties are very much like that. So like all the bills are included, and we give them extra stuff to, things just to make it nice. So it's a nice experience for them.
Yeah. Okay, Lakhi. I mean, Sapna seems to have, got a model there, rent to rent, and I think her rent to rent is verging on going into service departments and adding value. So, is this something that can work in places where the interest rates may go up? Once they go up, will this model work?
Well, I think the model can work everywhere. It all depends on the numbers, as Sapna says. I think she's got a definition of what should work and what shouldn't work. Excuse me. So I think it's critical that anybody looking at any of this stuff, with what Sapna says, she's got all the fundamentals correct. So getting the numbers done right in the beginning. Obviously, if she's taking a property from a landlord or through an agent and picking up the contract for a rent to rent, which is what she was doing in the beginning, one of the issues she may have is that if, especially in, let's just say, smaller value properties in the Northeast, if interest rates do go up, that landlord may they may have an issue with the property. You could get receivers coming on the property. So it's a risk that not many people are aware of, and it may not even be considered by many at the moment. But it is a massive risk in the next year or so because of lots of instability in the market.
So, Sapna, have you factored it in interest rates? Do you do account? You say you do the numbers. Do you take into account the interest rate hike?
When you're talking about interest rate, are we talking about the mortgage? It's to do with the mortgage, yeah?
Yeah. So the landlord gives you the property on a rent. Rent.
So what we do, there is
X amount of money a month. Now, if the interest rates go up, that money will also need to be adjusted because they may most likely be paying more money out in their mortgage payments, unless they have a fixed term, and then it's a different story. So do you factor in the mortgage payments? Do you ask the landlord what type of mortgage
We
product they
don't.
have?
No, we don't actually ask that question because it's their responsibility. And usually what I've found that the landlord, luckily that we work with, are the landlords who kind of inherited their properties, or the landlords who've already paid, so they are like retired, or they are the people like, who have got property fully paid. And luckily, I mean, I've not had that issue, but you're very much right. But the thing, what we do in our contract is like it's guaranteed. They're guaranteeing that rent for that many years, or if they have any issue, they will mention it, and we will get that cleared. Another thing we have added in the contract is, they need to really keep up with the mortgage. So if they need to read through, so it's their responsibility. So we have certain responsibilities included in the contract, what we need to do as a person managing their property and offering them guaranteed rent. We need to behave ourselves, but at the same time, we expect certain things from them as well. So the one of them is keeping up with their payments. And if they have any issue, normally what they would do, they would mention that, okay, we are agreeing on this rent this year, but from moving forward, we will need you to increase rent 2% rent or 3% rent up price, so then at least we can plan accordingly. If it's still working, the numbers are still going to work for us, then yeah, definitely we would agree on that. But if we feel that moving forward, because like I said, I totally respect, because now I kind of own properties as well, so I know where they're coming from. So I have every respect for landlords as well, so if I feel that I can't afford it, then I would be very upfront, and I would say, then if I have any concern, I would definitely. Or sometime the way I do my numbers, because in first 12 months you will, because if there is going to be any rise in rent from landlord side, it's going to be after work first year. Normally this is the case when they say, oh, we will have a review, or we'll have a price in the, by then we have recovered our money from that deal anyway, because usually our rent to rent deals will take about, between 6 to 12, very maximum 11 months, I would say. So if there is any price, yeah, we've recovered our money anyway. So whatever we are making on it, it's like our infinite profit anyway, So I'm very mindful of that. Yeah.
Excellent. I think, Sajid, we've got a shout out first before we go across to Lakhi. We've got Sajid Patel, Cam Patel, who else have we got? John Smith, all giving a shout out. I think Sapna is excellent with her numbers. Seems to have it all covered, and I think it's important to be very clear.
Sapna's stolen the show. VJ Sal, you might have to get the sack.
What's that?
No.
I think Sapna's stolen the show. Yeah. I think VJ Sal might have to get sacked.
Yeah, no. I'm totally happy to be sacked. I'm very sackable. I like to be sacked once.
You're not sackable. You're not replaceable. We can't replace you.
Thank you so much. Everybody is replaceable.
Just as well that Sapna can't do the bad jokes.
Well, you can't tell about, but I love hard to use Sapna there.
Thank you. Thank you
so much. Okay, but I think, honestly, listening to Sapna, you get a sense of this woman's really gotten into the devil of the details in property that a lot of people don't like to get into. They're trying to ignore. What's your feeling on it, Lakhi Singh?
So just repeat the question. I missed that.
Sapna seems to have a handle on what she's doing, and she seems to be very clear in all of the risks and how to manage them. And she's got a very, empathetic nature. Even though she's doing business, she recognizes the problems, I would say, that are faced by landlords. And then I think the nature of the rent contracts are flexible enough for people to walk away on good terms. Lakhi, what do you say?
Yeah, I think she's got quite very good business brain on her, considering she's come from a sort of a public sector background. So I think she's done incredibly well to pick up the 4 or 5 different dimensions you need in business. You need to have good interpersonal skills, and you also need to understand the numbers. You need to understand the legals. You got to sort of understand the ability to deliver, implement, and manage all the contracts to get things up and running. So I think she's got a very comprehensive model there. So you should really be getting Sapna to be our sort of go-to expert for rent to rent, because I don't think
my God.
I think we
Thank
got
you.
enough time to Sapna.
Thank you. That's
I think
very kind of you. Thank you.
one of the purposes behind Lakhi Singh opening up the alternative business and property solutions community is exactly for that, for people like yourself who can help other people to get on the property ladder, or at least understand in detail the risks involved in a certain model of property business. So we've got a comment come from Mr. Cambertel, who says, and I hope it is a Mr. I want to find out it's a Mrs. and she's going to be annoyed. I'm then definitely going to get sacked, and we're going to have to ask Swapna to take my place. Cambertel says that the lenders are looking at 90% mortgages now, and they're trying to come back with 90% mortgage. And he says, is this not going to be a return to the same problem? And I think it is quite possible, a return to problems. But remember, humans are very cyclic. We always go around in circles, come back to the same point in history. And we are very cyclic in our behaviors. And I think human history is cyclic, as we've seen a lot of things that we're seeing now with the COVID virus were happening in the early 1900s. We've got them happening now in the early 20th century or 21st century. We've got things like major market crashes going on that happened in the First World War, which was the Depression. So I think humans are cyclic and human history is cyclic. And I think, yes, the nature of man is he wants to make more. And I think once you're talking about money and they realize that they've blocked up the entire retail market, the buyer's market, the rental or the residential market, I think the banks will do anything to revive that. There may be very strict criteria in getting a 90% mortgage in terms of an impeccable credit file and possibly a good income, etc., etc. But I think 90% mortgages are possibly going to be a solution for the younger lot, not for middle age and sort of late 40s, later on in their lives type of people. And I don't think it's going to be available for buy-to-lets anyway, not for the commercial market. So anyhow, the saying of this week, Lakhi, are you a hard worker or are you talented or are you mixed? They say where hard work takes, when talent doesn't work, you have to replace it with hard work. Are you talented or are you hardworking?
That's quite a tough question because everybody's got their own talents in their own way. So what I might think is to call it normal could be considered as talent. Yeah, I suppose we've got to have some talents. I am actually talented in dancing. I like dancing, so that could be the reason. I did actually hit 55,000 views on doing a bit of a Bhangra.
Wow.
And we picked up about 20-30 clients from there wanting
amazing
property services. So yeah, I think it could be down to my talent, I think.
Okay, so right, that's a different answer, Lakhi. The question is different, the answer is different. Having a talent and drawing people in is all right, but we're talking in specific terms. When you are doing a job, a business, an act, and you have to perform that act. Some people do it by being talented, and some people do it by being hardworking. Sapna, what are you? Are you hardworking, or are you just talented? Or are you mixed?
I'm hard.
I reckon she's talented, and she's being modest now.
Oh, no, I think Sorry, what did you say? I missed that. What did you say?
I reckon Sapna's talented and she's just going to be modest now.
Oh my God. No, actually, I mean, I don't think I'm talented. I just think all this comes, when you are stuck in that situation. So I think sometimes you develop these things as you go along, or when, you come across situation. But yeah, I think I'm more hardworking than talented. Definitely. That's how I started anyway. And then you develop skills as you go along. The only talent I had, that I could leverage or think is I can connect with people, because I've always been in that type of job, always where I had to connect with people, so I think that's the only talent that I could leverage on, to start with.
Excellent. I think there's an underplay to say only. I think I've read in lots of business journals, lots of high level business leaders actually refer to communication as being one of the key points to business. So I think it's not and only, I think it is the main talent, being able to communicate. I think without being able to communicate, you can't achieve in business. What say you to this, Lakhi Singh? Are you a good communicator, or are you just good at Bhangra?
I would probably say communication is probably one of my key skills. But like Sapna, I think it all comes from hard work and practice. I think you develop talent based upon practicing your skill, disciplining yourself, and repeating things. So I think when I was about 24, 25, I'd be shy to speak to more than a couple of people and I think now we're speaking to hundreds of people on this platform, or thousands. So I think it just takes time and practice. I remember having to speak to 100 IT directors for Deloitte in Greece about 20 years ago, and literally not being able to sleep the whole night, and then in the morning sort of like panicking over it, which is quite daunting. But I think, it just takes time and practice, I think. And the more you throw yourself into new situations, the better practice you get. But yeah, certainly I would say communication is probably one of my major skills. I'm very good at listening, I think, and picking up on people's vibes and sort of realizing where they're coming from.
Okay, so communication and vibes. Two different things, I think, Sapna. Can you pick up on people's vibes? Are you able to plug into their senses, their feelings, without talking to them? Do you?
Yeah, I think I can. I would like to say I can. Sometimes the drawback is, I'm going to be very honest, I am trying to see too much positive in everybody. I always try and find out the positive. And I think this is where I'm learning that I need to, at times, I do need to have that business head on as well. But yeah, okay. I do pick up because I've had that spiritual background as well, upbringing as well. So I'm very mindful of this. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, right. Okay. So you obviously have a spiritual side to you. Can you Bhangra though? That's the question, because obviously it helps in business. Are you able to Bhangra?
I can't do Bhangra. I think I'll need to take some lessons. I'll have to take lessons from Lakhi Bhai. Yeah.
Okay. Lakhi, the question is, are you willing to give people Bhangra lessons? And does it add value to communication, Bhangra, as a tool to break the ice?
I think definitely. I think ultimately, even if you're in business, you still have got lots of other dimensions to me. I'm quite a creative person, so I like drawing, I like dancing, I like fitness. I like to. One day, I'd like to do the Ironman, which is the massive triathlon, which I have to start. That's the objective. I haven't started yet. So I've got, well, I have
That's
done
probably
one
why-
triathlon, which was
That's probably why we got
400.
Sapna.
Sorry?
That's probably why we got Sapna on this morning, to give you a flavor of how to dream of being the Iron Man. Okay,
Yeah,
Sapna.
definitely.
Right, I'm going to ask you a question now. I mean, right, you've got the rent-to-rent going. Now you said you've slowly gone into the property, the acquisition of properties. So where do you find there is a difference between the two that you're doing? One is renting for other people and giving them a return. Do you have the same model for yourself then? So are you taking your pardon?
Say that again. Sorry, I missed your question.
The question is, you've got properties that you're renting to rent out, which is rent to rent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you got properties which are your own. You mentioned that you got into purchasing your own properties. Are you doing the same thing with your own properties in terms of rental income? Are you maximizing their rental ability?
That's a very good question, actually. Yeah, because the properties I had, I mean, I've always debated. I mean, so far, I mean, I've owned now, because relatively new. I don't know how big you guys are, you know, I mean, I just started. So, I mean, I'm doing 8th development now. So I nearly thought that I'm going to give them to, you know, service accommodation and all that. I'm going to use that for that. But my properties have been just let out so easily. I've never had that issue, but I'm always mindful. I'm creative because I'm already in that type of strategy. So if ever I have any issue, the type of properties I have, I can easily let them out on that basis, on short-term lets. And also one property that I'm developing from, it's a 3-bedroom. I'm going to turn it into 5. It's starting from tomorrow. The work is starting. So that property, it's like at a very, very prime location. It's like having it in central London somewhere. So it's like that, very, very conveniently located. Thank you. So I'm actually debating that with that one, you know, what to do. So it's funny, I was just thinking this morning, you know, that I might actually use it as an essay unit, you know, because I think the location is very, very good for it. And that means we can get the, you know, maximum, how can I say, maximum income out of it, you know, cash flow possible. Yeah.
Okay, just for anybody who doesn't understand, we've got a morning shout out to Mandy, I think. Did we give Mandy a shout out yet? No, we haven't. Mandy, a shout out to you. Yeah, the question is, in case anybody understands or gets confused with what SA, not Colombian SA, it means service department, a bit boring compared to the SA in Colombian, but no, service departments. We've had this topic come up many times, Lakhi Singh. Most people in properties happen to have a spiritual side to themselves. They're trying to do a bit more than just straightforward commercial activity. And Sapna happens to also have a spiritual side to her. What is it about property that makes you feel that you're giving something more to your tenants than just commercial activity? Why do people in property happen to have a sense of spirituality? Can you answer that question, Lakhi?
Yeah, because you feel that you are helping people. And I think the reason I do the way I do my property is, okay, we are all in it as a business. But the way I look at it, I mean, I don't know how spiritual you would say that is, but I look at it as a very human side, that it could be my child, my brother, my sister living in those properties, you know. So I want to make them as comfortable, as nice, as like a friendly atmosphere for them. So, you know, so they feel, I mean, it could even be me tomorrow. Things change for people. So I'm very mindful about these things, because just because I am a landlord today, or I'm a landlady, and they are, you know, renting my property, situation can flip anytime, you know. So in that way, I feel that I've got that spiritual. And moving forward, I mean, I haven't shared it with many people, but what I would really like to do one day, I want to build a property, and I want to give that property just for homeless people, because I do feel there is a lot of homelessness, you know, and if I can offer something back, you know, and that's at the back of my mind as well, that I really want to do something.
Excelente. There you hear Sapna talk about the spirituality in her. And isn't that the same as your Lakhi Singh, your saver, as you call it? You're doing the saver thing, that you regard whatever you do every morning, the work you do, and the business that you partake in as being a bit of a saver, or is it a chat? What would you call it? Service to humanity? Is that right?
Yeah, it's sort of giving without wanting anything in return. That's what it's called. It's a free service, basically. I mean, what's happened is Sapna is since I've been working in the alternative property business solutions community, and also the past 15 years of sort of helping people in property. What I've done actually is I actually took the very long route around. I don't think I was very business minded at all when I started. I actually started off just thinking about what I can do in property to help people with problems. So what's happened is we built the business on solving people's problems, but all the solutions we've got now, and I'm not quite sure whether you know all the things we do, but we run a UK-wide estate agency. We stop repossession in 24 hours anywhere in the country, and 200 solicitors that can attend pretty much anywhere across the whole country.
Wow.
And we've been known to work. I used to fly in and have 20 meetings in 2 days in Northern Ireland, and literally do back-to-backs. Then we also do specialist finance solutions, business loans, personal loans, private equity, joint ventures, so we've got family offices, do bridge finance. We do a lot of commercial lending. And we also have an income opportunity where people, even somebody like yourself, could join the income opportunity, help others with the income opportunity, and still make some money. So what we're offering is very comprehensive in terms of one-stop shop, but we have a zero cost to be able to set up and become an associate of the company as well. So I would say that one of the fundamental things that I've done is always looked at things from how do we help people first. It's sort of been a detriment to the business of sorts. Otherwise, I think we could probably easily be worth a couple of 100 million now, because I could be easily doing a lot more investments like yourself, and actually doing a lot more transactions. But we've done it with the helping people in mind first, and now we're beginning to make it a tiny bit more commercial. We're setting up a prop tech online business so people can access all our properties as well for purchasing or selling online platforms. So yeah, I would say even now, I get told off by a lot of the other directors in the company, because sometimes I tend to spend a lot more time with somebody with a broken wing. So I might spend 15 hours with them. Then I might have a Saudi prince or something like that I'm speaking to next day, and I might only give them 10 minutes. And I sort of tend to be a bit very, very hardcore business with those sort of people sometimes. So that is actually it's a huge contrast between two different types of things. So, and it's very difficult to draw the line in terms of becoming very businessy when people have massive issues in their personal lives. People have lost their job, or they've going through a divorce, or they've got some sort of drug abuse issue. So it's not an easy position to be in when you're trying to help people solve their personal problems.
Yeah.
You have become very shrewd then, Lakhi Singh. You're a shrewd businessman now, one who's able to flip somewhat, you could call schizophrenic, I would say, in terms of you can flip from one personality profile to the other according to the clientele. Sapna, do you have that ability? Do you find sometimes
at times, but not to that level?
Are you a Mrs.
I really admire that, and I hope this is where I feel that I think I have got that too much. I'm a bit like that, where I sometimes spend too much of my time, and people tell me around me that, I really need to have that business head on. But even starting this mentoring thing, I mean, I feel, because I felt so lonely and isolated. So I've made it a point that I keep my fee so reasonable that it's not that, oh, what can I get out of it? It's that what I can give you in return, So I had to work on my own psyche. I'm going to be very honest with you, because I'm so like on the spiritual side I was, that I don't mind paying for education, but I found it hard to charge people for education, for teaching them things. So this is where I had to, because I had to teach myself, if I don't, then people will not take me seriously, and just for that reason, I had to.
Maybe we need to take some advice from Lakhi Singh, the property fixer, who will give you some tips as to how to convert the formula into getting revenue without having to ask for it. He's a clever man like that, very shrewd.
Definitely. I could do with few lessons. 100%. Yeah, I'm really, really happy that I've come on the show.
Moves.
No, I think Sapna, I think the person, somebody like yourself, my time is available to you whenever you need it. It's not a problem.
Thank you. It really means a lot. It really does.
Yes, and you may teach you a few moves, maybe a couple of river dance moves, a couple of moonwalks.
That comes as a bonus.
Yes, a bit of opera, bit of ballet. Okay, so we're moving on. The question is, what's it taking you, Lakhi, to be the success that you are? I mean, have you been on success so long that you don't realize it? I should refer back to my anecdote last week about success. But if you just focus on that and tell me, how long have you been on success? And when do you feel that you need to get off being successful?
I think success is just a state of mind. I think my way of thinking is I've never really been successful, because if I thought that way, then I'd just get lazy. So I actually think the same way about myself than when I was about 18 or 21. And I always think, I don't know much. I need to learn so much more. So I've always thought in that way. And what's happened is when you think in that way, you attract people that are going to probably give you their knowledge and share things. Whereas if you come across to people like you know everything, you're not really going to attract the right sort of people around you. They're going to think, well, he already knows everything. I just want to do business. I don't really want to be engaging. So
okay, and have you ever been on a successful day?
Sorry?
Did you ever get a successful day?
This goes back to an old joke that Vijay Sal keeps on using because he thinks it's funny.
I'm asking you, have you ever had a successful day? Just a day?
I have had a very joyful day, yes.
A joyful day, right. Okay, so that's her younger sister, is it? Joyful. Anyhow, moving across back to...
Jokes aren't funny, Sapna, so let's...
Coming back to Sapna.
Let's just talk to Sapna. She might have some more interesting things to say.
Yes. Sapna,
no.
Have you ever felt in your many days that you've had a successful day, that felt today you've achieved something?
I think at the business level, I don't. It doesn't. Again, it goes down to how I've been up. I've had my upbringing. I think I feel more successful when my mentees achieve something. When they have got their first deal, I kind of relive my moments through them. So I mean, I know it may sound a bit cliche, but I don't know. I don't feel. I think I just do things at a very. I don't know how I can explain, but when I'm just. Sorry.
At a human level, would you say?
At a human level, yeah. It's just I feel happier that way if they are achieved, because I feel that because this is something relatively new I've started. So if they are achieving something, it makes me happy that I'm kind of helping them in what they wanted, and they looked up to me for that.
So how many rent to rents do you have now on your books?
24.
24. Woo! The a big number, 24. And in 24, how many of these rents are for another, say, 5 years or 3 years going? Hello?
I don't think Sapna heard you. Sapna, can you hear us?
Yeah, sorry, what did you say? I missed that.
How many of your 24 are for more than 3 years contracts? Are there still another 3 years left on them, or are they now running out of time?
They're running out of time. So nearer the time, we will review them. We will review them nearer the time. Yeah, what to do. So excellent. At the moment, yeah.
Is there a market in the south, Lakhi? Because I know in the south, rent to rent works, but that's more like people taking properties off landlords and packing in their tenants like sardines. Is that the same concept in the south?
I don't think it's as bad as that, but I think the concept works anywhere. I think basically this basic component is where the landlords doesn't really want the hassle of having to manage their property. They just want X amount of rent. And let's just say they've got a 2-bed flat in Watford. They're getting £1,000 a month. If Sapna thought that she could get in there and get £2,000 a month by changing a few things around, and then the cost of actually, spending might be 5,000, and it might take 5 or 6 months for her to get her money back to deal with all the costs, and it's a 5-year contract. Then I think rent to rent can work anywhere. So it all depends on really whether you're looking to do one-off projects or whether you're trying to develop a brand or create some sort of marketing position about yourself. But I think Sapna in herself, she's got a fantastic personality, somebody who really wants to give back to people. So I think we should probably help Sapna to become businesswoman of the year in the UK, because she's got a lot of skills. I think.
Okay, Sapna, last minute, can you just give us a brief summary of what you think 21 is going to be about? 2021, what are you attempting to achieve? What do you think is going to happen next year? And tell us something about your Sapna for the year 2021.
I think we are just living in such I don't know, I think Lakhi Bhai will have a better idea, of what 21 is going to bring. But, I'm just trying to be very optimistic about the next year, because I'm hoping, with regards to my business, people still need somewhere to live. So I can't see things, going downhill with that, this business model. I can't see. If anything, I think more and more people will be willing to work with us, So for that, I think, and I'm hoping that I can reach out to more people, because I think at the moment, not many people know what I am offering and what I'm about. So eventually, I feel that there are people that are dying to get into this business strategy, and they need just the right person. And I'm hoping that, they can reach out to me and they can, I can help them to, get into this property business through this rent to rent. So I still see there is a lot of scope next year as well in this, because a lot of landlords will need that help.
Excellent. I think we've got Sapna, who's probably an excellent person that you'd like to probably work with, Lakhi. We could probably give her some role in the Northeast. Lakhi Singh, also promoting the fact that she's an excellent mentor to people wanting to get in, because I know there's lots of people in the alternative property and business solutions community who are trying to get into property. And I think this would be an excellent reason for them to do so. Lakhi Singh, last words before we close off, because we're half a minute left.
So message for everybody out there is Sapna started from zero, and now she is a hero or heroine.
Hero, yes. Thank you.
And I think
I'm still learning.
Basically, it just takes perseverance and resilience, and I think she's got both. So if you're out there looking for a new income, thinking of, how can I get involved in rent to rent, then Sapna is a true inspiration, and a great person to be working with. So that's my message.
Thank you.
I will say big leave and see you tomorrow again, 8 a.m., 9 a.m. every morning. The drive time session with Lakhi Singh, the property fixer, making his moves on the alternative business and property solutions community. Thanks so much. Take care, Sapna. Speak to you soon.
Thank you for asking me to come to the show. Thank you.